And we are live. And we are here to talk week 28 of the English Premier League. And I was going to do this yesterday, but I figured I'll should a Tottenham Everton game some love. And it's a good thing that I actually waited because we were treated to a very one-sided but very exciting game of football where Tottenham completely destroyed, schooled, demolished Everton Football Club, demoralized. I don't know how Everton are going to lift themselves up after this string of bad results. And you have a inexperienced manager, Frank Lampard, a bunch of players who has never been in this kind of situation. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult for Everton to stay up. It's going to take the other teams around them to actually fail for Everton to actually survive or for them to turn their fortunes around. We will take a look into how could Everton survive the drop this season. So big up to everybody in the stream. Guys, I've been a very busy man for the last 2 weeks. Or let's say for the last week or so, because I don't know if you guys have been following, but my Acura truck got into a accident. Basically, I slid off the road, hit the curb, and damaged my wheels. So I've been working on it, been buying parts, putting it back together and everything. And it's back on the road, but I still need to replace the rim, though. The rim is a little bent, so I need to replace the rim. And I've been working on my Honda as well, doing the front end, and the rear end as well. So I've been busy, man. I've been working hard, and I got to keep these vehicles on the road because how else am I going to get to work? I'm not going to get up early to catch the bus, not at all. So I've been busy, and with other things as well. So I just put YouTube on the side a bit, but of course, I come back for the live streams. And plus, my laptop is broken, so I can't really do much. I'm really having a weird 2022, but still a very good 2022 to say the least. So appreciate everybody who stopped by to join the live stream. And those of you guys watching the replay, thank you very much for tuning in. You guys are indeed the real deal, right? Do appreciate that. So guys, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be going through all 10 fixtures, and we're going to just go through the scores and just talk how the teams are doing in terms of where their goals stand at this point in the season. Look, still got a title race on our hands here. We got the top 4 race heating up, the European spots. We got that relegation race, the relegation scrap, very hot as well. And we have some teams who are just trying to get stability at the club to do better than what they did last year. The teams like Brighton, Crystal Palace, Wolves, those teams just in the middle chilling. So, guys, without further ado, let's get into action, man. Let's talk. Let us talk. And let's start with the game that was actually played today, and that's the game between Spurs and Everton. So Spurs 5, Everton 0. A very embarrassing scoreline for the Toffees, but for Spurs, they bounced back brilliantly after a string of poor results. Tottenham, they have been very inconsistent, you know what I'm saying? Very inconsistent, where Antonio Conte has already lost 8 games in about 26 games in charge, whereas he managed 65 games for Inter and only lost 15. So he's already lost half the games. You see, more than half the games, that he lost at Inter Milan. So you could see it's a step down. It's a step down for Conte, where he has to work on a project. He has to get his own players in, and he's already doing that with Bentancur. You see he's using Cesenia more. You see he's using Matt Dougherty more than, the players he inherited. And, of course, Kulusevski. So, look, Tottenham 5, Everton 0. This game is one of the most one-sided games you will ever see because I can't remember Everton really having a lot of clear-cut chances in this game. It was just all Spurs. And I was like, Everton at least put in some type of effort. You know what I mean? They did have 6 shots at goal, but only, none of them was on target. They didn't test Lloris at all, and we know Lloris could be very, very suspect. They did end up with 45% on the ball, but that's because Spurs took their foot off the gas towards the back end of the game. But in this game, the own goal by Michael Keane, it could have been avoided because I think that cross, the square, he could have done a lot better with that one. And the Heung-min Son goal in the 17th minute, I think Jordan Pickford could have did a lot better. Kulusevski with the assist, Son with his 11th goal of the season, and Tottenham in the driver's seat. And those 2 goals followed by a 37th-minute goal by Harry Kane, set up by Doherty for Kane's 9th of the season. Then in the second half, Reguilon, who was brought on for Ryan Sessegnon, who picked up an injury there, scored immediately to stake his claim to, that left-back berth again. And now that Sessegnon is injured, Reguilon would be, want to hold on to that spot. Kulusevski with yet another assist. So he's already hit the ground running in the Premier League. And you gotta commend the youngster, man, because not a lot of players could hit the ground running in the Premier League. Players take time to really, really settle down in this league. This league ain't a walk in the park. Michael Keane was also brought off at halftime. Jared Brantwaite came on. And we had another goal by Harry Kane, 55th minute. Matt Doherty with the assist across. Harry Kane left-footed, 10th goal of the season. So, seems like he's leaving it for late, where he's already bagged quite a bit of goals in the last couple games. So, Tottenham with an emphatic win. And, as I said, very, very inconsistent to say the least. But look, they'll be happy to pick up this win after a string of poor results, because if we take a look at what Tottenham have done lately, remember they went through a period where they lost 3 on the bounce, right? They lost to Southampton, they lost to Chelsea, they lost to Wolves, then they beat Man City and came back to lose to Burnley, bounced back against Leeds United, but lost their last game in the FA Cup to Middlesbrough. You see, so they now bounce back with a win, and then they play Manchester United next week. So if you see the trend, Man United have been getting the better of Tottenham lately. They might just end up losing that game too. You see what I'm saying? So they got to get that inconsistency out of their game and just try to put together a string of quality performances like they did when Conte just, started managing the team. So, look, Tottenham, with that win, they're 7th. They're still 7th. They go up to 45 points. Level on points with West Ham, who's falling off the boil a bit. And Tottenham do have 2 games in hand. So, West Ham would want to, keep picking up those points to at least try to get the Europa League again. But it's going to be very, very, very tough. But look, for Tottenham, they got to continue winning games. Top 4 is still there for the taking, with Arsenal, Man United, West Ham, and Chelsea all, reachable. They're right there. Only 53 points, Chelsea in 3rd, and Tottenham, they do have 45 points. So they're reachable. They're reachable within touching distance, right there and about. So they would need to just keep being consistent, and that's not been something we could say synonymous with Tottenham for the last week or 2. So look, great football by Tottenham. They look like they, when they played City, they looked at their best. They looked the way they looked early on in the season before Nuno got sacked. And as I said, they got to continue this. But the main talking point wouldn't be Tottenham dropping 5. The main talking point from this would be Everton taking 5, right? And the fact that Everton are currently just outside the relegation zone. And this is unbelievable. 22 points. Frank Lampard in charge. I think he's been in charge for 5 matches now, and he's lost 4 out of 5. Not even a 2 draws, a win, and 2 losses in there. But he's lost 4 out of 5 games that he's been in charge. They do have a few games in hand with 25 played, 22 points. And they have a game in hand to the teams below them. So that's a good thing. And they do have a game in hand to Burnley. So for Everton, they would need to start winning. And I mean, like yesterday. They also have Leeds United just ahead of them. And they have 2 games in hand to Leeds. So that's something they could actually take some kind of solace from. And if you look at Brentford 27 points. Everton do have 3 games in hand, but you have to win your games in hand. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just switch this tab and I'm going to share with you Everton's next games that's coming up. And let's assess and see if they could, pull things back with the games that they have coming up. So for Everton, they have been on a bad run. Rafa Benitez was in charge. He got sacked. Everton, they have been the worst team in 2022. Easily. We look at January 2nd, the first game of the year for Everton FC. And they lost 3-2 against Brighton. They did beat Hull in the FA Cup. And you see, they lost to Norwich. Like, you losing to Norwich, that's a sign that you're not doing well at all. Then they lost to Aston Villa, 1-0. Defeated Brentford in the FA Cup, so that's a good thing that they stayed in the FA Cup. I think they have been knocked out of the FA Cup already. Then they lost to Newcastle, a resurgent Newcastle. They defeated Leeds, which has been their only win so far under Frank Lampard. They lost to Southampton, lost to City. I think they should have got a point against City. You know what I mean? That's my team, but they should have got a point because I don't know what happened there. Seriously. I don't know what happened there in that with that whole Rodri situation. I'm just going to keep it real. They defeated Bournemouth. Yeah, so they're still in the FA Cup. No, they're still in the FA Cup. So that's a good thing for them. Or maybe not. And then the loss against Tottenham. So we take a look at the games they have coming up. Wolves will be a tough game. Newcastle again would be another tough game. See what I'm saying? Forget about the FA Cup right now. West Ham is going to be United is good. All these games are tough. All the games are tough. Every single remaining game is a tough game. Brentford, you have Arsenal, you got Chelsea, Leicester, Crystal Palace. All these teams have been playing well, with the exception of Brentford and maybe Leicester. But Leicester coming off of back-to-back wins right now. So, look, Everton's survival hinge on the other teams around them flunking. That's how I see this. That is exactly how I see this. Talk to me, guys. Talk to me in the chat. Let me know how you feel about Everton and their chances of survival this season. I think they'll survive. I don't think they're going down. I really don't think they're going down because they got to pick up some kind of result here. I don't see them losing all these games. They got to pick up a result somewhere. You see what I'm saying? Whether they do have Watford, they got to beat Watford in that postponed game. They do have a game against Palace. That's a game that they could win, but, Palace dangerous. Watford also dangerous on their day. You know what I'm saying? So you got West Ham who could misfire. They could get something. You got United. They always seem to be able to get something from Liverpool, but that game will be at Anfield. It's going to be rough. Leicester, it's going to be hard. Arsenal could flunk out on the final day as well, and Brentford. I think they'll survive. But just by the skin of their teeth, in my opinion. They have been hampered big time by injuries. When you look at their teams, it's all over the place. But big up to Dupe. Nice to see you in here. Appreciate everybody who tuned in for the stream. And, nice to see everybody come back, to support the thing. My iPhone actually updated and I had my music playing on the iPhone, but it's not playing continuously. It's like playing and then it's stopping. I don't know if it's not playing in the background or something when I don't know what's going on. That's why I hate updates, man. Absolutely hate updates, man, because every time your phone updates, it's always some crap, man. It's always like a whole different set of features and, you know what I mean? Stuff that you don't even know what's going on with your phone. You should be able to opt out of updates. Hate it. But anyways, part of my mini rant there on the freaking iPhone updates and Hot Chili. Big up to Hot Chili. Say your phone acting like Spurs. Nassim B. If Everton loses their next 2 games to Wolves and Newcastle, they might be in huge trouble. I was actually thinking today that they might actually have to sack Lampard. You know what I mean? Lampard might get sacked. That probably wasn't the wisest decision to appoint him. Big up to 80 Booth in the house. How are you doing? 80 Booth always seem to stop by when Aston Villa does well. I realize that. 80 Booth shows up when Villa does well, and when Villa are going through a slump, we'd never see 80 Booth. Big up. So 80 Booth did mention 2 home games at least. Let's take a look at the home games that Everton got, right? They haven't been good on the road at all this season. So their survival will hinge on the home games. So they have Chelsea at home. They could get a point from that game. They got Brentford. They got Crystal Palace. Those are winnable games. Man United at home. That's a game they could get something from. I'm not saying they're going to win it. And the 2 home games here against Wolves and Newcastle, definitely. They got to take advantage of all these games at home. They really have to. Or else it's going to be bye-bye for Everton. I think 69 or 68 years in the top flight. They could be relegated. Let's take a look at the table there, guys. Leeds, 23 points, right? They've been on the losing streak. Bad losing streak, right? The team that's not in the team that is in the worst form possible is Leeds United. Then Brentford picked up a valuable 3 points there to separate themselves. So, Brentford are putting themselves in a great position. It could be, look, Everton, it ain't looking good, but they got some games in hand. They got to win those. Burnley, Watford, Norwich, Leeds, I think, are going to be scrapping it out. I don't even know, man. This one's hard to call, but I just don't think Everton are going down. So, guys, that's my thoughts on that first game. Let's just go back to the Premier League page. And let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. We had a lot of goals this weekend, man. Whole lot of goals. And I have my book upstairs. I don't even remember my predictions. But if I go upstairs, my son Liam is actually going to want to come back down with me. And I don't want to, cause a ruckus in the house right now. So, look, let's talk Norwich, Brentford. Norwich 1, Brentford 3. Look, I predicted Norwich to win this game. I could remember that prediction. And you got to give it to Brentford for picking up this victory here, man. 3 goals for Ivan Toney. A hat-trick for Ivan Toney. 2 from the penalty spot and 1 from a corner. Christian Eriksen corner flicked on by Christopher Aya and volleyed in by Ivan Toney. But Norwich did have a bright start to the game. David Raya pulled off a couple good saves early on in the match and kept Norwich at bay. And he had a 1 or 2 other saves during the game where if he wasn't up to the task, Norwich would have been, let in and scored a couple goals, and it would have been maybe, not so much a rosy result there for Brentford. And I say rosy, you think bees. You know what I'm saying? So this is a big win. This is a huge, huge win. The second goal, a penalty, that was awarded because of a high boot. A high boot there. I think that was I can't remember the defender. I think that was Byram or McLean, one of them with the foul, and Ivan Toney stepped up one step, bang into the back of the net to beat Tim Krul, he wasn't bad on the day as well. Tim Krul pulled off some really, really good saves on the day that kept Norwich somewhat in the game. But they were quite sloppy in defense though. Definitely. And Ivan Toney punished them. 6 minutes later, player brought down and up stepped Ivan Toney and in the back of the net. 2 good penalties, same side, and Norwich couldn't actually claw themselves back. They did score a goal that was ruled out for offside, and then Pokey did get the consolation goal at the end, but it just haven't been good enough. Norwich haven't been good enough at all, and it seems like they're doomed. There was a situation in the game too. I didn't actually watch this game live, but I did see on Twitter that Brandon Williams was pulled down by Eriksen, and he was about to fight the player, and when he realized it was Christian Eriksen, he turned around and gave him a hug. So that was, a great moment in the game there as well. So, look, it's actually nice to see Christian Eriksen casting a spell over these performances here for Brentford. First game, it wasn't a positive performance, but still, you saw glimpses. You saw glimpses of what Christian Eriksen is capable of doing, and he played from the start on the day, and Brentford picked up a very, very, very valuable win. And Norwich ended up being the more dominant team at the end of the day with 15 shots, 7 on target, 60% of the ball. Brentford with 10 shots, 6 on target, 40% of the ball. It was a closely fought contest with Brentford actually being the more clinical of the two teams and walking away with the 3 points. Yeah, big 3 points in the grand scheme of things when it comes to survival, because they have 10 games left. They got 27 points. That's their first win in a while, and it's huge, man. This win could be the catalyst for survival, because before this 3-1 win, they lost 2-0 to Newcastle, 2-1 to Arsenal, a 0-0 against Crystal Palace to stop the bleeding there, but lost 2-0 to City, lost in the FA Cup, lost 2-0 to 2-1 to Wolves, lost 3-1 to United, lost 3-0 to Liverpool, lost 4-1 to Southampton. So they had a good first half of the season. Really solid. Let's say first 15 games, they were really good. But, oh man, they have fallen off the boil big time. And if they had continued to be consistent, they would have been up there with around the 40, let's say about 43 points or so, because I'm telling you, Brentford looked good early on in the season. And when I say they look good early on in the season, I mean that, right? Remember the first game, 2-0 against Arsenal, 0-0 against Palace, a 1-1 draw against Aston Villa before they lost narrowly to both Brighton and Wolves, but they did bounce back with they beat Oldham 7-0 in the EFL Cup, and that 3-3 draw against Liverpool. They beat West Ham, so they had some good results early on in the season. Norwich did beat them early on, and it's good for them that they bounced back to pick up a well-needed 3 points there. So for Brentford, look, Thomas Frank, he was Dean Smith's manager. I think he was Dean Smith's manager when Dean Smith was in charge of Brentford. So this was a tricky game for him, a weird one emotionally. So it's good for him that he got the better of Dean Smith, who's going through a torrid time right now with Norwich. And if you look at Brentford on their fixtures coming up, for Brentford, you're looking at Burnley next, another 6-pointer. That's a huge game, because if they do manage to pick up 3 points at home, that'll take them up to 30. And if you look at what the teams below them are doing, they're not doing well. They're not doing well at all. And that these 3 points would be mammoth in the quest to survive. You got Chelsea, they got Chelsea, 2 London. They got 4 London derbies on the bounce against Chelsea, West Ham, Watford, and Tottenham. And they finish off the season against United, Southampton, Everton, and Leeds, where the games against Everton and Leeds could actually be either fight for to stay up in a relegation scrap, or they would have already survived, and they come up against a dangerous opponent who actually trying to stay in the Premier League in Everton and Leeds. So the games are going to be difficult come for the last 10 games of the season. So quality performance, they needed that. I'm not going to go on and on crazy about, Brentford. Let's see what they do in their next game, which is a 6-point, as I said earlier. And they look much better than Norwich in terms of surviving. And Norwich, I don't know, man. I don't know. From the get-go, I knew Norwich were going to struggle this season. They did have a great November and a little period this year where they look good. But 4 losses on the bounce, unacceptable for the Canaries, who did look, have their moments in the game, but they don't, I don't know, man. They don't have that killer instinct in them, man. From the get-go, I don't think they bought the right players. They bought championship level players, in my opinion, and that's where they're going to end up with those exact players. Their next game is against Chelsea. They're not winning that game. You see what I'm saying? As much as Chelsea could be a bit inconsistent, Norwich are not winning that game. It would be a miracle if they managed to win that game. And I mean a miracle. They're not winning. They're not winning that game. And they do have Leeds United. That's a 6-pointer. Brighton. They do have some good games coming up. Leeds, Brighton, Burnley. If they could still survive, but they got to win. And do they have it in them? Do they have the quality? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. They finish off the season with Tottenham and Wolves. They're not surviving. They're not surviving. United, Newcastle, Aston Villa, West Ham, they're not surviving. Norwich, you could say bye-bye to Norwich already. You know what I'm saying? We could already just say bye. Bye, Norwich. See you next time. Enjoy the championship. With your championship level players. So look, but it's nice to see Eriksen playing though, and it would be a great story if they do sign Eriksen and he is the player that helped them stay up with the quality deliveries and just his experience in the league. And just the story, the inspirational story of Christian Eriksen that could actually push Brentford into, a different realm, because they've been occupying a space where it's not good. They have been going through a bad period, and they need to just shift gears and get out of that. And it looks like they could do that. 27 points. They're looking healthy. They're looking very, very healthy right now with how many games to go for Brentford? 10 games. 10 games, 13 points. You'll back them to get that. You'll back them to get it. For what they did this season, and with the players coming back from injuries in Raya, and you have your back line fit again, Christopher Aya, you got Pontus Janssen and Ethan Pinnock, Brian Mbuemo, Ivan Toney is fit again, you know what I mean? I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be okay. So that's my thoughts on that game. Spent a lot of time on that. We have a lot more to talk about, and we are going to keep it moving. But before we do, big up to Pachara in the house. Dom, thoughts on Mexico, Liga MX situation? Yeah, I did see that, but I haven't got time to really touch on a lot of things. It's just sad, rivalries and things like that is just sad, man, You don't have to resort to that type of violence all the time, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, we're not going to get too deep into that right about now, because we do have a lot to talk about. Big up to Jason Daring, who says Fulham will come back. Indeed, Fulham will be promoted into the Premier League next season. Guys, make sure you smash the thumbs up button for the video. I'm not actually keeping track of how many thumbs up we got. But smash up the thumbs up button, man. I will definitely appreciate that. It will help a ton. So we're going to keep it moving. Definitely going to keep it moving. I've had a long day. Haven't even slept since I came off from work. Like I usually get a nap, but no naps today. We're going to keep it moving. We got a lot of games to talk about. Newcastle United 2, Brighton 1. I did predict Newcastle to beat Brighton. And Brighton are going through a horrible period where they have now lost 4 on the bounce. 4 on the bounce, 11 matches to go. They won't have to worry about relegation, in my opinion. But then again, you never know. What if they lose the next 4 games as well? And the other teams around them just win and pull them down in a relegation scrap. Because 33 points is not safe. That's not safe at all. And ever since Dan Burn left the team to Newcastle and he faced his old team on the day, did get a header that he put wide. Ever since he left Brighton, they have not been picking up good results at all. And Graham Potter has been experimenting with his 11 and with his setup and all. In this game, Tariq Lamptey played as a winger. You know what I mean? They're not at their strongest, in my opinion. I think they're very strong when the likes of Lallana, Mupay, Bissouma, all these guys are playing from the start. And look, if we check the lineup right there, that was not the case. Alzate, Moda. I don't think these guys are decent, but I don't think they're good enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're good enough. They have not shown that they're good enough. Seriously. You have Welbeck, Lamptey, Gross, Trossard. It looks a little light there. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not surprised that they lost the game. Not surprised. Their defense have been hampered with Burn leaving, Webster injured, and Duffy lacking enough game time, in my opinion. Veltman is a utility type player. And Cucurella was so-so on the day. And Sanchez, he has has kind of weird lately because he was brilliant for the first half of the season, and now he hasn't been good, in my opinion. Not at all. But look, Brighton did have their chances. They tested Dubravka on a few occasions, but it was Newcastle, man. Newcastle, this team just have been on a ridiculous run. One of the most remarkable runs that we've seen for a while in the Premier League. And they are indeed one of the most informed teams in the league behind a Liverpool. When you put it, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, one of the most informed teams. Newcastle United. You got to give it up to them, man. They're looking good. They're climbing up the table. They got 28 points and now have 6 wins. Remember, there was a time when Newcastle didn't have a single win in the league this season. So the fact that they do have 6 now, brilliant. Brilliant. I think 5 of those came under Eddie Howe. And you could see that Howe is bringing out the best in the players, unlocking players that Steve Bruce couldn't unlock. So it was a right decision to sack Steve Bruce. Think about it. Take over, a lot of money in the club. You're going to have Steve Bruce with a budget. Come on, man. That's irresponsible. No disrespect to Mr. Bruce, but that's irresponsible, man. It's like giving Chris Wilder a lot of money. So, look. Newcastle 2. Brighton 0. Brighton's form is shocking, seeing that they were so good before this slump. So good defensively. The amount of losses they had picked up, they just looked really good. I was referring to Brighton as the mini Man City, the way they move the ball, the cohesiveness, the pressing game. It's this style of play. But they have really fallen off. And they're falling short. Ryan Fraser. I spoke about Ryan Fraser in the preview. And I mentioned how he's a player that we got to keep an eye on. And the man was damn good in the game. 12-minute goal that came from a Jacob Murphy ball that hit the post. And Fraser did the rest. Fabian Shaw. in the 14th, Ryan Fraser with the assist. So Fraser heavy in the first 2 goals. He disappeared. Definitely disappeared for the rest of the game. I didn't see much of him. Lewis Dunk, 55th minute to fight back in the game. Pascal Gross. I think that was from a corner routine, if I'm not mistaken. And they fought. They fought really well. I think they were the better team in the second half. They fought really well, but they just couldn't break down a very, very resilient Newcastle defense and goal. So Newcastle with yet another win. Brilliant stuff, as I mentioned, and I mean brilliant. Newcastle are now 14th with 12 Premier League matches to go, guys. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? And the last string of results read: Newcastle 2, Brighton 1. Newcastle 2, Brentford 0. West Ham 1, Newcastle 1. Newcastle 1, Aston Villa 0. You have Newcastle 3, Everton 1. Newcastle 1, Leeds 0. Newcastle 1, Watford 1. Newcastle 1, Man United 1. And those have been the positive results in the last 8 games or so, where they have not lost a single game and they haven't conceded a lot of goals either. So brilliant stuff by Newcastle, man. They'll be in the league next season. There was a big scare that they'll get relegated as the richest club in world football, but that's not going to happen, guys. That ain't going to happen. And it's because of the decisions that they made. Bringing in Howe, spending the money on the specific players, and look, results. Poof. As for Everton, man, things haven't been good at all, man. I don't know what is going on with this club right now. And they didn't have a great game. They really didn't. They had a lot of the ball in 61%, 11 shots a goal, 3 on target. But Newcastle, even with 39% possession, 20 shots at goal, 9 on target. Like, come on. Come on. Look, Everton's defense, shocking on the day. Shocking. And they would have to perform a lot better than this in order for them to survive. They're not surviving with these type of performances. It's impossible. It'll be sad to see them drop down. I don't think they'll drop down, but anything could happen, man. Anything could happen. You know what? I was actually let me see. I was actually reading the wrong thing. I was looking back at a Newcastle Everton game, and I'm here talking Newcastle. We talking Newcastle Brighton, and I'm here talking Newcastle Everton. I'm looking back at a Newcastle Everton game from back in February, and I'm talking about Everton. Jesus, get it together. Get it together, Dom. Get it together. So Newcastle Brighton, you see when you go down a rabbit hole and you start talking, what happens? You see what happens? You see what I mean? But let's get back on the radar here. Ryan Fraser, 12th minute, Fabian Shaw in the 14th minute, Lewis Dunk in the 55th minute, and Newcastle held on for the win. Yeah, sometimes that happen, man. I'm trying to get my laptop going as well, but it's not. I don't know what is going on with it. It's just not booting up. I'm just having some technical difficulties right now, but I don't know what it is, man. I don't know why I started talking. Did I go on talking about Everton there for a while? I don't know what happened there, but it's like I blanked out for a second. Seriously, but we were talking about the Newcastle run of the unbeaten run in the league. That's what we were actually talking about. So they've been good. They've been really good under Eddie Howe, and you got to actually credit them. You got to credit them for believing in themselves, bouncing back, and just playing some quality football. Players like Joel Linton look good. Joe Willock, after the run he had at the back end of the last season there, playing, well again. Look, Ryan Fraser did not play well under Steve Bruce, and look at what he's doing under Eddie Howe. So testament to Eddie Howe and what he's done. You gotta give him the credit there. And if you look at what's coming up for Newcastle United, let's take a look at what's coming up for them in the league, and let's take a look at that. And you guys would see what they could actually achieve by the end of the season. So if you take a look at how many games they got left, they got 12 matches left, and they got Southampton. It's a winnable game. Southampton, they did lose their last match, surprisingly, but they're a team that's been good lately, so you never know. Chelsea, Stamford Bridge, you never know what you're going to get, to be honest. Everton, they're so-so this season. Newcastle got a lot of winnable games here, man. A lot of winnable games. At the back end there, you got Liverpool and Man City, Arsenal. But there's Burnley the last day. There's Norwich still to play. There's Leicester, who's not been that great lately. There's Wolves as well, where they have been losing quite a few games. So Newcastle will be all right. They'll survive. They'll survive the drop. They'll definitely survive. Definitely. So big up to everybody watching the chat right now, man. We have Jason Daring was saying I was skeptical of Eddie Howe, to be fair. And let me see what else you guys are saying. Lampard, big up to Stink Mina, who says Lampard has no relegation experience. Everton is going down. Yeah, I don't know why I started talking about Everton again, though. Seriously, I kind of blanked out there. I don't know what happened there, man. But I already spoke about Everton already, but I clicked the wrong game. I was talking about stats from that game as well. I don't know. Maybe I was actually sleepwalking or something. Because I meant to talk about the stats from the game between Newcastle and Brighton. And I don't know why I was actually talking about that game and the stats. Don't know why. But Brighton did have a lot of the possession, 68%, especially in the second half, where they even sent up the keeper late. They had 15 shots at goal, 4 on target. Welbeck had a great opportunity. I think that was the best chance that he should have scored, but he didn't. And they did score that consolation, consolation in the end. Lewis Dunk in the 55th minute. So, yeah. So, for Brighton, look, we're not going to talk too much about them. I think they'll be all right, even though they're going through a slump right now. They'll pick up 2 wins and 2 draws and maybe finish the season on 43 points or so. You know what I mean? Because they have some tough games coming up. They do have Liverpool, Tottenham, City still to play. And they have Arsenal. They have Tottenham twice. They have United. But there's a game between them and Norwich. They got to win that game. There's a game between them and Southampton and Wolves. It's going to be a tough rest of the season. I think they'll struggle big time, but they'll just trickle over the 40-point mark like they have been doing over the last few seasons since they were first promoted. So, yeah, Newcastle will be all right, I think, after that resurgence, and Brighton should be okay as well. So, big up to everybody in here, man. Guys, make sure you smash the thumbs up button. Do appreciate that, and we're going to keep it moving. We got a lot to talk about, so I better get my energy levels up and not go down too many rabbit holes and start talking a bunch of crap. So, yeah, let's go. Let's continue here, and let's go back. Let's just go back to the Premier League website here, and let's start Burnley 0, Chelsea 4. Didn't start the game too well at all, because at halftime, it was 0-0. And I was like, whoa, Burnley, you're going to get something from this Chelsea game here. Didn't happen. Second half, Reece James coming back from injury. Very good goal, man. Very good goal. Chalobah with the assist. Chelsea, very good build-up and very, very good individual skill by Reece James to beat Nick Pope at the angle there. And then Kai Havertz with a quick-fire brace in the 53rd and 55th minute. And Christian Pulisic with the 4th to put the nail in Burnley's coffin. Burnley were building up a head of steam before this match, and With a draw, it would have been a great result, and it would have continued, their form, because they have been playing well. But just couldn't find a way to break down this Chelsea team on the day. And even though Chelsea weren't so good in the first half, second half they came and did the business. So you got to give Chelsea credit there, because credit's definitely due for the second half performance. Team talk worked. Thomas Tuchel in the airs, and they came up with the goods. 6 shots at goal, 1 on target for the whole game for Burnley. 27% possession. Chelsea with 73%, 11 shots, 5 on target. So they were very clinical with the chances that they did create. Another talking point here, Romelu Lukaku didn't even get involved in this match. He didn't start. He was on the bench, wasn't brought on, and he remains a topic, that Premier League fans are going to continue to talk about. Big money move from Inter, and it seems like he's already out of the door. A player that I think Chelsea could get rid of, or should get rid of, is Timo Werner, man. Look, Kai Havertz, I think he has worked out big time. He's a quality player. But Timo Werner, I don't know, man. I don't know. I criticized Timo Werner in the past, and I'm going to keep criticizing Timo Werner. He has definitely not lived up to expectations in the Premier League whatsoever. But who knows, man? Does he need a third season to come good? Because the first season, so-so, in my opinion. A lot of Chelsea fans may say he did well. But this season, I guess it's proven my point that he has not been good enough. So, look, Burnley, bad day at the office. Wasn't able to break down Chelsea. Did get a few look-ins. Nothing too, troubling for Mendy. Nothing too menacing. And Chelsea walk away with the 3 points. So for Burnley, who are in the relegation zone right about now. Look, I expected a Chelsea win. That's what I predicted. And that's what we got. So this is not a surprise here. Chelsea should beat Burnley. They did pick up a draw in their first game against them, so this is somewhat of a revenge game. And they did get their revenge over Burnley here with the 3 points, and to keep Burnley in the relegation zone. Burnley, 21 points. Only 3 wins this season. That's not good enough. But for them, they only got 11 losses, so there's still hope. There is still hope with 12 matches left to go. Who do they play in these remaining games? They got Brentford. That doesn't look like that's a 6-pointer. That's still a 6-pointer because Brentford do have 27 points right now. So 6 points separate them. That is a 6-pointer. And they do have, who they have coming up here. Let me just get that for you right there. I just had it right there. I don't know where it disappeared to. All right, so Brentford, they do have Southampton, postponed game. They do have Norwich. So Brentford, Norwich, Southampton, all beatable. Man City, they're not going to beat City. City are like their bogey team. That's not going to happen. But then there's West Ham. There's Wolves. There's Aston Villa, Watford. There's Newcastle, Tottenham. These are games that Burnley could actually win. But do they have 19 points in them out of 12 games? That's the question. Or maybe not 19. Maybe they could survive with about 16. Do they have 16 points? Could you see Burnley picking up 16 points with the remaining games? To be honest, I don't even know, man. I don't know. It's hard to call. It is hard to call. I should make a call, but it's very difficult to call, man, because Burnley, we know a team that could pop up anytime and do the business. Within that run, they do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home games. And we know it's very difficult to play at Turf Moor. So let's see if they could actually pick up at least 10 points at home and get a couple more on the road. It ain't looking good for Burnley and Sean Dyche. Let's just put that out there right now. See what I'm saying? Let's just put it out there. As for Chelsea, top 4 is the priority right now because they're not winning the league. Right now, they're 16 points behind City, not winning the league. They do have 2 games in hand. They ain't winning the league. We know that. 12 matches left. Possible, still do have a possible 36 points, which means Chelsea could get a maximum of 89 points if they win everything. That's not going to win the league still. You see what I'm saying? Because City still have a possible 30 points to get. You know what I mean? You know how that goes. It is a possibility, but it's improbable right now. It's improbable. They're 10 points behind Liverpool. I don't even think they'll catch Liverpool. You see? So, for them, I think this is a game that they should win. They did so. Tuchel was a happy man. Happier than he was in the game against Liverpool. And, look, they just march on. Good come from behind win against Luton Town in the FA Cup. Another good win against Burnley. This time scoring more goals. But they had to really scrape for those results in their last few games, but they are in a good run. They are definitely in a good mood. They're in a good groove right now, and they play Norwich next, which is a must win, and it's an easy win for them in my opinion. So yeah, winning the bag, you could already, they said don't count your chickens before they're hatched, but you could already consider Chelsea winners of that game. It's harsh on Norwich, but they haven't really shown us otherwise. So that's my thoughts on that game. You guys have anything else to add? Please let me know in the chat. So we got what else we got here? MVP Kev said Chelsea got robbed in the final against Liverpool. How was Mahrez's goal not offside, but Lukaku was? The agenda is clear. Nah, man. Nah, come on. I thought you were going to say Mane's goal. But Mahrez's goal is insignificant because if you really think about it, look at the scoreline of the game. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think that is a valid case you have there, Kev, because, United weren't never going to win that game in the position that they were in. You see what I'm saying? That was, the 4th goal of the game? So, come on. That's not a good argument there. Leave that alone. Leave that one alone. Big up to Abel in the house. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Big up to everybody in here. Nice to see y'all in here. Appreciate it. And look, the Chelsea game is a routine game, man. Not going to linger too much on this one at all. But for them, in terms of their upcoming games, they do have Norwich, as I mentioned, Newcastle, Lille in the second leg of the Champions League round of 16 next week, Middlesbrough in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. They do have some, important matches coming up, but they have played the bigger teams already in the Premier League, where the biggest game left is against United on May 15th. That might be a scrap for the top 4. That might be a potential 6-pointer. Who knows? But, yeah, Chelsea's season is, pretty much, not going to get as exciting as, in terms of the Premier League. Champions League, they could still win that. And they're still in the FA Cup as well. So, if you're a Chelsea fan, I guess it's fine. It's been an okay season. I know Chelsea fans probably thought they were going to win the league, but that's not going to happen at all. Not happening. So, we're going to keep it moving. Burnley in a relegation scrap. They got to continue to be positive. It's going to be very difficult to stay up, but we know that where there's a will, there's a way. And I think Burnley is a very gritty team. And if there's any team down there right now that's going to scrap it out and survive, it's Burnley. They do have Brentford next in a 6-pointer. And they do have Norwich as well coming up in the next few weeks. So those games are must-win matches. So, guys, we're going to keep it moving. And let's talk about the game between Aston Villa and Southampton. Let's talk about that one briefly. Aston Villa's 4, Southampton 0. I actually expected a lot better from Southampton, where I think I predicted a draw for this game. I think a high scoring 2-2 draw. And for Aston Villa to destroy Southampton like this, it was quite shocking, man. It was quite shocking. Not the best performance, not the best defensive display at all. Obviously, when you concede 4, definitely poor defense. Definitely. Ollie Watkins, well-needed goal in the 9th minute. Douglas Luiz is a rarity in terms of goal scoring, but did bag one. Philippe Coutinho was a master. Listen, I did talk about Philippe Coutinho being the player to watch here for Villa, and he showed up, man. He definitely showed up. Good goal in the 52nd, and the assist as well in the 48th. But Danny Ings, I think this was a morale-boosting game for many of these players, especially Danny Ings, who picked up 2 assists in the game, and that goal that eventually came in the 54th minute. So you got to give it to Danny Ings, man. You got to give it to Ollie Watkins as well. And, of course, the signing of Philippe Coutinho was a genius signing. Luka Dean wasn't involved, so, you know, they missed his quality there. But I think the players who stepped in, they did a great job. Definitely did. Southampton, they just have to go back to the drawing board and continue picking up those wins. They'll be fine in terms of Premier League survival. Only 3 teams are going to go down. You know what I'm saying? Not 6, not 5, not 4, but only 3. So with Southampton already picking up a significant amount of points, I think it'll be, you know, enough for a good enough foundation for them to finish off the season strongly and not worry about relegation. They have 35 points and they do have 11 games to go. See what I'm saying? They'll be all right. They'll be all right. We'll see Southampton in the league next season. And for them, they do have Newcastle, Watford, Leeds coming up in their next 3 games. So they'll be fine, man. They'll be fine. In my opinion, they will be fine. And they newly got taken over as well by a Serbian billionaire. And the club is going to be a more ambitious club. And big things could be happening in the future for Southampton. So they just got to keep their head up and just keep moving. Villa actually needed this win way more than Southampton because Villa, who are coming off of back-to-back wins here under Steven Gerrard, they needed the win. They do have 33 points right now and back-to-back wins after coming off of a horrible, horrible slump. But they do have the personnel in the team to survive, and I think they will. I really, really think they will. I think they will. They're not lacking the inspiration at all, especially when they look over on the touchline and they see Steven Gerrard. Yeah, they'll be okay, man. They'll be okay. Not going to go too deep into this one, but I think Southampton could have done a lot better defensively, made a few mistakes, but you got to give big credit to Aston Villa for being a lot more clinical in this game than they have been, you know, lately. You're talking about 14 shots at goal and 9 of them on target. 9. You don't often see that ratio. Southampton, 11 shots, 1 on target. Very poor. Very poor. But credit to Aston Villa for throwing them off their game. So, Villa 4, Southampton 0 for Aston Villa in terms of their next game. Let's talk about their next game will be against Leeds. Then West Ham. Then Arsenal. They have some tough games coming up. They have some really tough games coming up. But they're a type of team where you don't even know what's going to happen. They're very unpredictable. But more on the positive side, though, because they're a lot better team these days. Remember, they had to struggle for relegation a couple seasons ago. They had to really, really fight. But no, I don't think they have to worry about that right about now. They're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. So, big up to everybody in the stream right about now, man. What we got here? We got Swag Reloaded Boss. How are you doing? Botak Ching in the house. How are you doing, man? Who says, good morning, Dom. The title race is still on. That is an easy win against Manchester. We all, let me see. We all know that we'll give away to Man City to win. Congratulations. Nah, man, we had to fight for a win, man. Why you make it sound like that? We had to grind. We had to fight for a win. We had to graft, and we got it at the end of the day. Big up to the boy Dupe, man. Thanks a lot. Dupe, what happened? You got a job, bro? Don't tell me you got a job. I'm watching you guys grow up in front of my eyes, man, and that's a beautiful thing. That's definitely a beautiful thing. Thank you very much, Dupe, for dropping the $5 super chat, who says Manchester is blue. When's the gaming channel coming back on, Dom? Yeah, man, I've been really busy. Thanks for reminding me. And the gaming channel would have been back, but remember when I had that problem with the mic? It kind of threw me off too, because then I had to go set that back up, make sure that one's, things are going, sounds good on that end as well. And then unexpectedly at the back end of January, things really got hectic for me as well. I slid off the road in the snow, hit the curb, you know what I'm saying? And, I've been repairing my cars ever since, because my Honda the front end just started to fall apart, man, making a whole lot of noise and everything. So I was like, I had to get that repaired. And I've been working hard, man. I've been really busy. And with working on cars and you don't have a garage and a lift, man, it takes a toll on you, man. So after working on the car, I'll just relax, in the evening. And that's on my days off, 2022 has been a struggle, I'm telling you, man. But thanks for the continued support, guys. We're going to keep it moving, though. We're not going to spend super long on this one. But, Aston Villa needed this. They needed those back-to-back wins as well. It looked as if they were going to get sucked into a relegation battle. But they're separating themselves from those teams down towards the bottom of the table. Minor setback for Southampton after a very, very good period without really losing many matches. And they'll look to just bounce back from that and, look to actually compete for one of those European places. So remember, guys, Southampton, they're currently 9th in the league. And for them, the next game is against Newcastle. Then they do have Watford. So look out for those games involving Southampton. And they play City again in this time the FA Cup quarterfinals, where Man City are definitely out for vengeance after failing to beat Southampton this season. From what I could recall, I think we picked up 2 draws against Southampton, man, which is absolutely ridiculous when you think about it. Like, how is it happening? How we can't beat Southampton? Why? Because they're a quality team. But I guess they were caught off guard on the day by Aston Villa. So, look, confidence boosting game for a lot of these players, including Watkins, Coutinho himself, who needed a lift. Danny Ings, big time, man. Big time. So let's see if Steven Gerrard could continue in this rich vein of form. 2 games, 2 wins. And let's see if Hasenhüttl and the Saints could bounce back. So we talked Aston Villa, Southampton, Burnley, Chelsea. We talked Newcastle, Brighton, and Hove Albion, where I think I may have went into dreamland. I don't know. I started talking about Newcastle versus Everton. I don't know why. Looking back at a game from February, I don't know why I did that. We spoke about Norwich, Brentford, and we have a few games left still. We got Wolves, Palace. We got Liverpool, West Ham. We got City. We got about 5 games left. God damn, we're not doing well at all. How? We are not doing well. We are not doing well today. An hour into the stream, and we are not doing well. We aren't doing well at all, man. Big up to Nelu M. Big up, man. Nelu Mazzari. Big up to you, bro. Appreciate it. Big time. Big up to Nelu, who always supported the thing. And dropping a $20 super chat with the City. Nice to see the City fans coming through. Big up to the obvious girl as well, who is also a City fan. Damn, don't mind them. They're such haters. It's sad. It's only illegitimate when it's won by City. Anyone else's success is not scrutinized. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. Listen. We're going to handle business and we're going to take care of things. And it's going to be yet another Premier League title. Knock on wood. It's looking good. It's looking good. But Liverpool are definitely breathing down on necks, man. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it real here. I'm going to keep it spicy. We got to keep things interesting here. I want to start streaming a lot more to talk about this title race because you gotta give Liverpool the credit, man. These guys have been playing some good football. They have been playing some good ass football, man. So yeah. But thank you to Obvious Girl for continuing to be a member of the channel. Do appreciate that. Big up to Nelu M. And big up to Dupe. All City fans, man. All City fans dropping the big support there. Where the Liverpool fans at, man? Where the Chelsea fans? Where the United fans? Where the Aston Villa fan? Big up to 80 Booth. Big up to everybody in here, man. Guys, like up the video. Do appreciate it. So we're going to keep it moving, man. We're going to keep it moving. And let's talk Leicester versus Leeds United. This is a game that I did watch. And I have to say, I felt a bit sorry for Leeds United because they played well. I think Leeds have looked very good so far under Jesse Marsch, their new manager. They look good. They did a lot of things right. And it was just unfortunate that they conceded that goal. That was a very good goal as well. Iheanacho coming off the bench, picking up the assist, the 1-2 with Harvey Barnes, who just can't stop scoring against Leeds United. But Stuart Dallas is not a right back. And I think this is what affects Leeds United. When you have utility players playing in different type of positions, right? Stuart Dallas could play in the midfield. You could even put him as an attacking player. You could put him as a left back, right back, center back if you have to. A lot of the players are like that. You need specialists. And a specialist would have stuck with their man. And I think he allowed Harvey Barnes to run away with the 1-2, didn't stay close. And the rest is history, as they say. Brilliant goal. And that was the goal that separated the two teams. And it must be hurtful for Jesse Marsch, where Leeds did come close on a few occasions. I was like, God damn. Leeds did come very, very, very close. And I think they were unlucky not to score. I think they deserve the point from this game. I really think they deserve a point. But a lot of positives for Jesse Marsch to take from this game. A lot of positives. I think he'll end up taking more positives than negative. Only negative really is that they lost the game and maybe how they conceded the goal. Because they were really flat-footed in terms of the goal there. Really, really flat-footed. And the fact that they couldn't respond, yeah, that's a cause for concern as well. Definitely a cause for concern. So Marsch will be looking to identify his best 11, the best players in every possible position, and to see if he could help Leeds survive. It ain't looking good, but they're outside the drop zone right now, and they would want to stay outside the drop zone. It's not going to be easy at all. Ain't going to be easy. They need to rally, just like how Marsch huddled, the team together at the end of the game. They need to really rally and, just do some introspection and say, hey, man, we're a prestigious club. It took us forever to get out of the championship. Now we're back. What are we doing? You see? So I think that's basically what's going on with Leeds. But for Leicester, though, this is good. This is really good for them because they have now gone on to win back-to-back games there. And they needed that. They were going through a very, very bad period where they were even talking about how Brendan Rodgers could be the next manager sacked, which I think was ridiculous. But you never know. You never ever know. You never know with these Premier League teams, man. Never ever know. So look, Jamie Vardy back, and I think he has been somewhat of a catalyst for Leicester. We know how dangerous he could be, and even with James Maddison not 100% right now, the other players I said needed to step up. They needed to really step up, and they did. Harvey Barnes stepped up. Keenan Dewsbury Hall is a player that broke out this season, and he's looked good. See what I'm saying? Daniel Amati had a strong game. Who won player of the match? Kasper Schmeichel is the player that actually won Leicester this game because of those big saves. I think his dad was watching the game too. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, he pulled off some big saves. I could remember one save at like point blank range. Rafinha should have scored. Rafinha should have definitely scored. But of course, didn't. But Leeds, they show a lot of promise. Even Rodrigo had a nice volley to, and he blasted over. I think Leeds, they just have to believe in themselves. I think the team is lacking belief. They're lacking inspiration. And they're just lacking that fight that that it's required for them to really go on a really good run. They know that. They know that. They've been in the league last season. They did well. And now what we're seeing here is unacceptable. Definitely. Definitely unacceptable. But look, for Leicester City, it's been a weird season. Remember the two previous seasons, they spent almost the entire season. Let's say they spent the entire season in the top 5. Wasn't able to get Champions League football for both seasons, and it ain't going to happen for them this year. They're 12th. They do have 13 games left, 33 points. It ain't going to happen. It's a possibility, but it ain't going to happen. I think they need a revamp. You need fresh players in the team. I think a lot of the players are, figured out. The defense isn't the greatest. You see how busy Schmeichel is. It's like nobody's playing back there too, They're going to look to strengthen. They're going to look to chop and change as well. Tillemans could be on the way out. Jamie Vardy's not getting younger. He's not as fit as he used to be. So, yeah, Leicester will be all right in terms of performances in the league. But in order to challenge for top 4, they just need a refresher, in my opinion. They need a new transmission. This one's giving out. This one's giving out big time, man. Look, we could go down a rabbit hole. We could talk about a lot more things. If you guys have anything to add, please let me know. I do have my notebook upstairs. I did attempt to watch all the highlights and make notes so that I could talk to you guys about that right now. And I do have notes for the City game, which I won't be able to refer to because it's upstairs, and I'm not going upstairs because my son is up there. And if I do go upstairs, this live stream might not be completed because, he's going to want to come down. And for you guys who know my son, yeah. Look, the Premier League continues to stand in solidarity with Ukraine as well. That's something that we have to talk about. And, let's all stand in solidarity with countries that's going through war. Not only Ukraine, but there's a few more other countries, going through their situation as well. And I also want to mention the fact that the Premier League pick and choose what they want to stand for as well. You see what I mean? So we're not even going to get too political, but I think some fans may find it actually redundant that they have to do something for Ukraine. And then again, they go and take the knee, and then they, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. It's a lot when you really think about it. It's a whole lot. But listen, man, so it's a kind of world we live in right now. So look, guys, big up to everybody in here, man. Nice of you guys to stop by. Do appreciate it. But before we move on, for Leicester City, they do have Rennes in the round of 16 of the Europa League. That's a Europa Conference League, and that's on Thursday. And they have a big game coming up against Arsenal on Sunday, March 13th. So the next two Premier League games are going to be against Brentford and Arsenal. So it's not going to be easy. Then they do have United, Crystal Palace. It won't be easy. It won't be easy. But for Leicester, look, you ain't got to worry about relegation. They do have 33 points, so they're not safe yet, but they'll be fine. They'll be fine. You know what I mean? They will definitely be okay. As for Leeds, I don't know if they're going to be okay. I really don't know because they're 16th with 23 points. They have lost their last 5 matches on the bounce. The last good result came against Aston Villa in that 3-3 draw. But before that, they weren't that great either. You know what I'm saying? They did pick up a couple wins, but it was so-so. 7-0 against City, 4-1 against Arsenal. They lost against Chelsea. So Leeds under Bielsa just a one-trick pony. Now that Bielsa is out of the what's the word I'm looking for? Out of the picture, and Jesse Marsch is in charge. Could he actually help Leeds United survive? It's going to be a tough task. It is going to be very tough. It is going to be very, very tough. Because let's do something again. Let's do something. Let's do an activity again. And let's go over and just check out the fixtures that's coming up for Leeds. Okay? So let's take a look at Leeds United here. Leeds versus Aston Villa. That's going to be a huge one. Every game is going to be a huge game. But they absolutely got to beat Norwich. Got to beat Norwich. They got Watford. It's another 6-pointer. But these teams that they got are beatable. Villa, Norwich, Wolves, Southampton, Watford are all beatable teams. The remainder, the rest of the season, it could be difficult there where they do have Chelsea, City, and Arsenal to play. But then there's Brighton, Brentford, Crystal Palace still to play. You see what I'm saying? So the window of opportunity is there for them to actually win some games and survive. And, you know what I mean? They gotta start winning. They gotta start winning, and they gotta start winning as soon as they play Villa. They do have a new manager, so possibilities are endless now. They do have plan Bs and plan Cs now. Even though Jesse Marsch is a bit more on the attacking side, still he got a plan B, and they look okay against Leicester City, where, as I mentioned, they were unlucky not to get something. 19 shots, 4 on target, 49% of the ball, not clinical enough in front of goal. They're missing Patrick Bamford, they're missing Liam Cooper, they're missing Calvin Phillips. And that explains it all. That definitely explains it all. So, look, we're going to keep it moving. Congrats to Leicester on that win. And let's just go back. Let's just go back here. We have a few matches left to talk about. We have the big ones. City 4, United 1. We got Liverpool 1, West Ham 0. But let's talk Arsenal, Watford. And then we got Crystal Palace, Wolves. And then, we land the plane. Let's talk about this game briefly. We're not going to spend forever. We're just going to touch on the major talking points here. Where 3 points for Arsenal. They look to get top 4, and Watford, another loss where they could be relegated at the end of the season. We don't need to talk too much more about other things right now, you know what I'm saying? But look, this game was filled with some spectacular goals, really good team goals, really good individual skills, and this one was a great advert for the Premier League. Watford 2, Arsenal 3. In this game, Martin Odegaard in the 5th minute, good goal. Saka with the assist. And then Chuko Hernandez with definitely March Goal of the Month nominee. Spectacular stuff by Chico Hernandez to equalize. And then Saka, oh my God, that was a sublime goal scored by Saka. Lacazette with the assist, but Saka, oh man, that was brilliant. And Gabriel Martinelli in the second half, set up by Lacazette. Look, Arsenal, the young guns have been getting the business done. Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, these guys are young. I think all three guys are under 21 still, and Arsenal have the most goal scorers under the age of 21 in the Premier League as well. So shows youth, man. Youth all the way, and with youth, they mature with time. So if you invest in a quality set of youths, they're going to repay you in the future. Definitely. Another high-scoring game involving Watford. They can't defend. There's been a few times when I've seen Watford out there on the street with, you know what I mean, it's like Watford, Watford's going down. Watford's going down. They're going down. No way they could survive the drop. No way. Even with Roy Hodgson, they're not surviving. They're not surviving. Good goal by Sissoko to make it a tight one at the end there. Very good, forceful goal. Chico Hernandez involved, but Watford, they just been poor, man. They had some good moments where they beat United this season, but overall, they've been poor. They've been definitely poor. So, great result for Arsenal. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that Arsenal, they are fourth with 3 games in hand to Manchester United and a point more than United. This is huge. This is huge. Remember, when the season started, right? When the season started, Arsenal had no points, no goals in August. Remember that. And they were, the laughing stocks of the league at the beginning. And look at where they're at right now. Arsenal do have Chelsea in their sight. Chelsea, look out. Arsenal are coming. And Arsenal and Chelsea, I think they don't have Chelsea. They don't have Chelsea to play. But they have United to play. Which, if they beat United, that top 4 spot is definitely theirs. They do have West Ham they do have, let me see who else they have in terms of the top 4 race. They've played Tottenham already. They do have Liverpool. And so they have Liverpool, United, and West Ham. Teams that are up there fighting, with the top 4 race and everything. Liverpool should be fine with the top 4 race, but I'm just saying. So other teams that they have to play, beatable. Very, very beatable. Arsenal do have Leicester next. That's at home. Liverpool at home. Aston Villa on the road. Crystal Palace. Brighton. Southampton. United, West Ham, Leeds, Newcastle, Everton. Arsenal might be playing Champions League football again. They just might. If you guys think they're going to be playing Champions League football next season, please let me know in the chat. We'll definitely appreciate that. But that was a good performance, though. Very, very good. You got to commend the young players, man. You really got to give them the credit. They deserve it all. And you know who deserves the credit too? Mikel Arteta. I'm telling you, Arteta, for some of the decisions that he's made this season with the Aubameyang situation, with the players that he signed as well, with his team selections, you got to give him some credit there. Aaron Ramsdale, who's not really been in the headlines lately, but still, these are players that, Mikel Arteta handpicked and brought into the club. And he's being repaid. Definitely being repaid. So I think Arsenal might end up getting top 4. Watford's definitely going down. Whether Roy Hodgson with his experience coming in, he's not gonna save them. It ain't happening. It ain't happening at all. They didn't have a bad game against Arsenal, but Arsenal held on for the win at the end of the day. So, look, we're not going to draw this out any longer. It's late. It's 11:11. Make a wish. I wish Man City win the league and the Champions League and the FA Cup to win the treble this season. Good wish, right? I did it, guys. I did it. Made the wish. Let's see if it happens. Let's see if it happens, though. What else we got here, man? Big up to Jason Daring. 80 Booth in the house. What else we got, man? Abel said we reaching. King Huddle. Villa were impressive versus Brighton. Thriller match. Big up to Thriller. Well, where's Thriller? Anybody check on Thriller to make sure Thriller is okay? Anybody, Thriller from Manila? Haven't seen him for a while. I got to see if I get in contact with Thriller, man. Make sure he's okay. Seriously. Got to make sure you guys are okay. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves, you know what I mean? Hope so. So, look, we've been live for an hour, 26 minutes. It's not going to be a super long live stream tonight. And I don't want to stay longer talking Arsenal, Watford. We're going to move on. That was a London derby. We got to touch on Crystal Palace, Wolves here. And then we finish it off with Liverpool, West Ham, and City United. So we're winding down. It's late. I'm a bit tired, to be completely honest. You know what I mean? Not at full pelt today. But I have to get this done. You know what I mean? We got to be consistent over here. And, if you guys are worrying about, oh, Dom, what happened? Where's the content, Dom? Where's the content? We haven't been getting a lot of content from you. Guys, the year is still early, man. The year is still early. And we're going to have a lot of content in March because the international break is coming up at the end of the month. We got the title race going on. We got Champions League. You know what I'm saying? So this is a marathon, not a sprint. So sometimes it's good to take a couple of days off. Do some other things like get your life in order, fix your vehicles, you know what I'm saying? That I've been neglecting for a long time, you know what I mean? So just bear with me, be patient with me. I'm only human. I'm going to F up at times. I'm going to make mistakes, you know what I mean? I'm going to talk BS at times. But, just bear with me, man. So it's a journey. Just remember that. It's a journey. So, look, all up to Watford. Well played, Arsenal. We're going to keep it moving. So, then it's getting warm. Allergies are acting up. It's crazy. So, Wolves 0. Crystal Palace 2. I actually predicted a win. I think I predicted a draw for this game. Crystal Palace to score first and give up the lead. But they won the game. And Wolves are going through a bit of a tricky period right now where they were on a really, really good run and now they have lost 3 on the bounce. So the same thing that's happening with Brighton, happening with Leeds, Everton, Norwich, that's what's going on right now with Wolves. Uncharacteristic performances. They had a nothing game. Nothing. Crystal Palace were all over them in this match. And Jean-Philippe Mateta, a scrappy goal there in the 19th minute. And then Zaha, penalty, Schlupp brought down. Zaha dispatched. Palace 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Didn't really, trouble Guaita too much. And It was not a good performance. Not at all. Not at all. Wolves are falling off a bit in the last couple games. They had 12 shots, 5 on target. Crystal Palace, 12 shots, 8 on target. They were clinical. Very clinical. Sa was the more busy of the 2 goalkeepers. But Wolves had a lot of the ball, 64% of the ball, but wasn't able to actually capitalize on that. Max Kilman, the culprit there, for that penalty. And he's been a breakout player for them, a revelation this season for them. And it's a bit unfortunate that he had to bring down the play and cause that second goal there. But look, Wolves, I think next season they would need to bolster their team. They need somebody in front of goal who could put them in the back of the net on a consistent basis, and they need that creative spark in the middle of the field. When we talk about familiarity and players being figured out, maybe a player like Raul Jimenez comes to mind, where yet another game he did not start. So maybe Bruno Lage is trying something fresh and just weighing up his options, where on the day Pedro Neto started the game, and it's nice to see him starting again. Daniel Podence and Huang were the other attackers. So we could be seeing somewhat of a lot of changes made at Wolves next season. And I won't be surprised if maybe Jimenez leaves, maybe a few other players as well. But Chiquinho came off the bench, looked bright, and it's good to see Johnny fit once again. But a major talking point would be Crystal Palace under Vieira picking up the win here. The wins haven't really come frequently for Crystal Palace, but when they win emphatically. They look really good. The wins are very, very dramatic as well. And it's nice to see Zaha amongst the goals, who, has been having a great, great season. So for Will Zaha, let me just pull up this game really quick, and I'll tell you how many goals he got this season. Zaha got 9 goals this season. 9. Mateta, 3. You see what I'm saying? So you could just see the comparison there of how well Will Zaha is doing, this season as a Crystal Palace player. Michael Olise looked good, had a great chance as well. And, Conor Gallagher is having a fantastic season, where this season's probably put him in Chelsea's plans for next year as well. So, look, team's playing well. Tyreek Mitchell, Guehi, Anderson, these guys are having quality seasons, man. So, Crystal Palace, they will be fine. They're just that team that will always be there in about 13th, 12th, 14th, always be in the league for the most part. Nothing really else to add, but great job by Vieira. He's a very attacking manager, and it's nice to see him shine, man. Seriously, really nice to see the only black manager in the league shine. Gonna keep it real, man. You know what I'm saying? Nice to see him do well. It would have been kind of crazy if he didn't do well too, and get sacked. But he's one of the managers that avoid a sack this season, which is crazy. You're quite fortunate if you didn't get sacked this season. So Wolves toothless on the day, 0. Crystal Palace sharp with a bite, 3 points. So in terms of the table and how it affects the teams, Wolves are still 8th with 40 points, 3 losses in 3. If they had won those 3 games, Wolves would have been 4th right now. Arsenal would have got games in hand, but Wolves would have been 4th right now. So these losses are actually jeopardizing their top 4 chances, where they would now have to aim for the Europa League or the Conference League. Well, what do you guys say? On point, right? As for Crystal Palace, they now move up to 10th, which is very, very good. Only 1 loss in their last 5, which means that they're one of the more informed teams in the league. They don't win an awful lot of games, where they only got 7 wins this season, but they do draw quite a bit of games, which shows that they are a solid team. So for Palace, they're going to be all right. You know what I mean? They play City next, a team that they've beaten this season already. So they're going to go up against Man City. That game is coming up next Monday. They're going to go up against City feeling very confident. They're going to lose, but they're going to be confident, before they face the defending champions there. They got an FA Cup game. They got Arsenal. They got... Excuse me. Told y'all about the allergies. They got Leicester. they got some tricky matches coming up, and it would remain so for the rest of the season. Palace would be fine. They'll be back. They'll be back. And I think they're a team that are very ambitious and will look to keep improving by bringing in quality players. They may lose a few of their better players to the top 4 teams, or maybe let's say the big 6 teams, or maybe outside of England. Like, for example, Conor Gallagher, would go back. They won't be able to buy him on a permanent basis. You got the likes of Wan-Bissaka recently going to United. Wan-Bissaka should have just stayed. In my opinion. He should have just stayed, man. He should have stayed. Did I mention who Wolves are playing next, man? Wolves' next game, again, is against Watford. That's the team you want to play next. Not a bad team to play next. And then they do have Everton, also not a bad team to play next. So their next 5 games are very, very the next 6, they have 6 out of the next 7, maybe like 7 out of the next 8 games are very good. Where they do have Everton, they do have Aston Villa, Leeds, Newcastle, Burnley, and Brighton to play. And then Chelsea and Man City in the mix there. But Wolves could, bounce back and continue their fight for Europe. So that's my thoughts on that one. We're going to definitely keep it moving, though. So this brings us to the biggest games of the weekend. Biggest games. Title race. Let's talk Liverpool 1, West Ham United 0. Well, Liverpool, I have to say, they barely won this game. Barely won it. But at the end of the day, it was still a win. Mane in the 27th minute, set up brilliantly by Trent Alexander-Arnold, who you see won player of the match there. And I did mention in my preview that Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson will be the players to watch. And these guys were indeed the men that made things tick for Liverpool on the day, both going forward, and they helped out big time in defense. And Trent Alexander-Arnold clearing that Fornals ball that was chipped over Alisson's head. Think about if that went in, what would have happened? Maybe Liverpool would have responded and won the game still. But look, West Ham had numerous chances to score, and they didn't. So they do deserve the loss on the day. But when you really think about it, they give Liverpool a really good game at Anfield without a Declan Rice, when you really think about it. So, Mane in the 27th minute, a lot of chances for Liverpool, but I think yet again on the day, they were very wasteful. Salah had that early chance that I think he should have scored. Luis Diaz had numerous look-ins. Salah himself did as well. And Liverpool weren't that good in the final third. They weren't good as well in the defensive third as well. So they do give teams chances. But when Liverpool do allow you to get in behind and allow you to shoot, you have to score. You just got to score. Liverpool with 22 shots at goal, 5 on target, 69% of the ball. They dominated possession. But when West Ham had a few opportunities, a couple foray into the final third, they looked good. Mikel Antonio with a couple shots, stung Alisson's palm. But the Lanzini chance, man, god damn Lanzini. Really good ball into the box. Trent Alexander-Arnold threw him off big time, and then he still had enough time to just tap it in, and he blasted it over. As a City fan watching this, I'm like, god damn, what are you doing? You had the game to pick up a point or to even win it, and what you gone and did? Put it over. Same like Fornals. Played in behind. He was onside. What you gone and did? Poor chip shot. Poor shot. Poor decision making by these West Ham players on the day. And yet another game at Anfield for David Moyes where he does not win. But as Abel is saying here, 3 points in the bag. It is 3 points in the bag for Liverpool. Not at their best, but sometimes you need to win when you're not at your best. You need to grind. And with an opponent like West Ham, who did beat Liverpool early on in the season, it would be a good achievement for Klopp and his boys picking up this win. And to keep pressure on Manchester City, because that's what's most important. The pressure that Liverpool continues to put on City. It's on, guys. It is on. It is on. With Liverpool's having a little bit of luck going their way, City with the luck as well. Not to forget that City does have their luck going right now. But with Liverpool playing the way they're playing, winning when they're not at their best, and on their day, they destroy teams. They have a couple of VAR decisions going their way as well. I think the Mane decision was a little, it was touch and go. But on review, when I look back at it today, he was barely onside. He was barely onside. So it could have went either way, man. You know what I'm saying? It could have went either way. It was marginal, but still. Mane did the rest, put it in the back of the net. Right? And as Online School is saying, no idea how West Ham missed that chance. They had numerous chances. The Pablo Fornals chance and the Lanzini chance was supposed to be put in the back of the net. And that's the difference between top teams and teams like West Ham. Well, they've been a top team this season, but overall, that's why I say marathon. I like marathons because with a marathon, it's not over. You see what I'm saying? You got to keep going. And teams like Liverpool, City, they go on marathon runs, like the run that Liverpool are on at home again so far. But West Ham, they're a team that they'll go on a little run and then they'll lose, they'll draw, they'll lose. And then you're like, what is going on here with West Ham United? You see what I'm saying? Like they were just playing so well the other day. What's going on here? You see what I mean? Like, what's up? And they've been a bit so-so lately, though. Real so-so, man. I'm telling you. Real so-so. You're talking about the 3-2 loss to Leeds, the 1-0 loss to United, they barely beat Kidderminster, barely beat Watford, 2-2 draw against Leicester City. And, you know what I mean? That's points dropped from a winning position as well. Look, the 1-1 draw against Newcastle, that was a game that they should have won as well. Dropping points from a winning position there too. And they ended up getting the better of Wolves, who's struggling now in their last couple of games. And they end up losing to Southampton in the FA Cup. So they've been very so-so, and their form has been very indifferent. But at the end of the day, when you really look at what they're doing in the table, they're overachieving. They are overachieving. But I think they could have done a lot better against Liverpool, though. Could have done a lot better. But look, Liverpool are looking good. Luis Diaz hit the ground running. Mane, very serious, scoring goals now. At will, it seems. And Salah, we know how dangerous he is, man. So the Liverpool players definitely picking up those, in terms of the personal stats, they're right up there. Right up there. Alexander-Arnold with the assists, Salah with the assists. You got Salah with the goals. Then you got, Jota with the goals piling up. You got Mane with the goals piling up. So these players being confident going into the latter stages of the season. In a title race, it's going to be hard to topple these guys, man. I'm telling you this. It's going to be very, very difficult. I think in terms of defense, Konate did okay, but there was a few occasions where he was definitely manhandled by Mikel Antonio, though. Definitely. But West Ham, in the future, when you play teams like Liverpool, you got to take your chances. That's the key to beating Liverpool. Take your chances when they present themselves. Okay? So, I don't have much more to add on this, but it's a game I expected Liverpool to win, to bounce back after the loss, and they did so. They did so. So congratulations to Liverpool as they keep the title race alive. So, look, we're going to touch on who Liverpool got next, who West Ham got next. Then we talk Man City, Man United in the London, the Manchester derby. So, look, for Liverpool, the next game is against Inter. That's coming up tomorrow, but today for some of you guys, Liverpool should just handle business. 2-0 up on aggregate. They should handle business. That should be a pretty, routine tie, I should say. They should wrap up the tie. They should wrap it up. Then they do have Brighton in the Premier League. Brighton are going through a very poor period right now, and Liverpool should win that game. But the game against Arsenal is going to be a tricky one to predict. They might just win that one too. And then there's United to play, and then there's City to play. There's Everton to play. It's not going to be an easy end of the season. There's Tottenham to play. It's not going to be easy. Let's see who ends up being a better team, whether it's Manchester City or Liverpool. Mark the date, April 10th. And that date is actually what? What is that date? April 10th is Sunday. But the game could also be played on the Saturday because of the Champions League as well. So that game might just be played on the Saturday because I'm pretty sure both teams might be in the Champions League still. I'm not sure about that, but it could happen. It could happen. That's still April, but it could happen. Both teams may be in the Champions League still. So let's see how that one works out. I would like to stay home from work that day too to watch that game. So that's why I gotta make sure I check the date and see what date that is. Yeah. So look, mark the date, April 10th. Manchester City versus Liverpool. That's the talk right now. That's a hot topic in the Premier League. Liverpool or Man City, who's going to win the league? If Liverpool manages to go on to win the league ahead of Man City, look, man, that'll be a great achievement. And you can't put it past the team there. You can't. They're hungry. They're really, really hungry. So, what are you guys saying in the chat? Do appreciate everybody in the house right about now. We got 80 Boots saying Inter dangerous if they could get the first goal. Bro, I don't think they'll win in that game, bro. What I don't like, Reds attacker, all selfish for personal goal record. So you're saying they need to pass the ball more, right? Okay, great point. Very, very good point. So, Van Dijk record. Yeah, Van Dijk's been unbeaten at Anfield, right? He's been unbeaten at Anfield. And there's, to talk City, there's the Laporte's record. Laporte played a game recently where he made 110 passes and completed all of them. Like, Jesus, Lord. How clinical is that? But yeah, man, Van Dijk is a quality player, though. And I was thinking on whether Van Dijk would actually spend the rest of his career at Liverpool, or would we see Van Dijk moving on to maybe a Bayern Munich, a Juventus, maybe a team like Real Madrid or Barcelona in the future? Who knows, man? He's not very old, but he's not getting younger. Does he want to stick around at Liverpool for the, the foreseeable future? Let's see. But he's a quality player, man. God damn. You know what I'm saying? City and Liverpool do have some damn good players when you think about it, you know what I mean? And that's why the two teams are up there fighting for the league. They're fighting for the league because of the quality and the managers as well. Look at the stability. Look at the stability of the managers. take your time and just look at the stability of the managers. There's Sean Dyche. There's Jurgen Klopp. And there's Pep Guardiola. You know what I'm saying? Look, these are some of the reasons why those two teams, maybe not Burnley to a certain extent, but that's the reason why Liverpool and City have been playing so well for a very long time. Stability. So Online School is saying he has no reason to leave. How do you know that, bro? How do you know that? How do you know that? He could leave if he want to leave. You know what I'm saying? He could say, okay, look, I've had enough of this adventure. I'm out. Simple. So, guys, we're going to land the plane and we're going to finish this thing off in about, next 10 minutes or so. And let us talk this one-sided game here, man. Very, very one-sided game. Where is it? Manchester City 4, Man United 1 at the Etihad, where United were on fire at the Etihad recently in the last 5 games or so. They have been very, very good. And I wish I had my notes here to talk through my notes because there was a lot of chances I had to actually touch on. But the biggest talking point in this game was the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo didn't start the game. He wasn't even in the squad, pardon me. Edinson Cavani as well, and Rafa Varane along with Luke Shaw missing in action. Players coming down with the coronavirus and other reasons why, players aren't available. So, look, 4-1. Early goal, Kevin De Bruyne. Great finish. But when Sancho scored, that was a brilliant run, brilliant assist. Yet again, City get caught on the counter the same exact way. Same way. I got to give it to Jadon Sancho for this goal. And I also got to give it to Jadon Sancho for his reaction after scoring the goal. Because he didn't celebrate, crazy. He would cherish the jersey and everything. But he didn't go crazy. Like, stick out his tongue and taunt the fans. He just calmed himself down. He scored against his old team. And he was cool. But maybe he needed to celebrate. You see what I'm saying? Maybe he needed to get into the faces of the City fans and, get his teammates riled up to go on to win the game or to get a point. But he didn't. You see what I'm saying? That's the problem sometimes. But look, De Bruyne getting in the 28th minute. Mars in the 68th and Mars in the 90th minute. Who remembers that spectacular attempt by João Cancelo? If that had went in, oh my God. That would have been a sick goal. Guys, there's too many things to talk about in terms of chances, man. Phil Foden, I love that he's become a match winner now. Pep chose to go in with Jack Grealish, which, these days, I'll accept Pep's decisions and, who he's starting. He got to keep every player happy. And Grealish had a good game in the FA Cup against Peterborough. And I think he had a very solid game against Manchester United here. You know what I mean? So it's nice to see him getting his confidence back. And the expectations on him is a bit too high, in my opinion. Too much expectations, man. You know what I mean? People need to chill out. In my opinion, need to chill out. So, look. Quality performance. 4-1. This is more embarrassing than the first leg, where Pep said it was like a training session and it was a walk in the park. After City scored a second and 2-1 at halftime, and in the second half, Man United were like basically non-existent. Non-existent in the second half. I think Doug sent me something in my Twitter inbox where it says City had like 90-something% at one time for the last 15 minutes. United were just like played out of the game. They were demoralized, and it was like, Jesus Lord, what is going on here? What is going on here, man? What is going on with this United team? They're just not good enough defensively. You know what I'm saying? I think if they had a different approach to the game and they were more compact, they could have did what Tottenham did against us. And just defending numbers, get the goal when they could, and just keep City out, because that's the blueprint to beat City. There's a blueprint there. Follow the blueprint. What are you doing? Follow the blueprint. So after they equalize, they looked good during that time. They had a couple of really good runs going forward. And I was like, damn, United look dangerous, man. Elanga with a couple of runs in behind. Rangnick chose to start with Elanga. Rashford was on the bench. You had Lingard on the bench. And those players came off. Those players came on when they were chasing the game, 2-1 down. And I think that was a good decision that was made by Rangnick. But after he made those substitutions, look at that. The substitutions were made in the 64th minute. The goal came in the 68th. Mahrez. How good has Mahrez been this season? Brilliant. Very good. City's top scorer. I think he got 21 goals so far in all competitions this season. And the final goal that was chalked off but later given a goal by VAR because Mahrez was onside. Absolutely exquisite goals, man. Absolutely exquisite, man. Phil Foden. Jesus, man. Phil Foden. I know I'm all over the place a bit, but I just saw Foden's name and I'm like, what a player, man. What a player. What a player. He should have got a goal in this game. He really should have got a goal in this game. But the work that he did, Jesus Lord, man. Simply amazing, man. Simply amazing. It's just mouth-watering stuff. Astounding performance by Phil Foden, and how he's developed is absolutely brilliant. The thing about Pep only used one sub in a game that he was running away with. Sometimes I think Pep needs to switch things up. He could have brought on Zinchenko, let the crowd get, hyped up over the whole Ukraine thing. He would have lifted the crowd. But the crowd was really pumped up during this game. I mean, pumped up, man. The atmosphere at Etihad was electric. The players, I think, all went out there and put out a good performance. No Ruben Diaz, no Nathan Ake in the team on the day. No problem, man. Laporte and Stones, you got to give it to John Stones. I think John Stones, after the postseason he had, bounced back brilliantly last year and is having a stellar season this term. Cancelo, oh my God. He's too damn good. Too damn good. Kyle Walker, I think, had a solid match. Everybody played well, man. When you have Kevin De Bruyne scoring like that, he scored his 50th and 51st Premier League goals as well. Congrats to him. Grealish was, on form on the day as well. I like the first goal when Grealish and Bernardo linked up to tee up Kevin De Bruyne. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Jeez, man. Jeez. De Bruyne with 2 goals and an assist. Mahrez scored his 10th Premier League goal this season as well. 21st in all competitions in the league. Brilliant, man. Brilliant. And I'm happy that we got the better of United, because it would have been demoralizing if City had lost to United and then given Liverpool an opportunity to catch up and go ahead. So, yeah. Brilliant performance. Brilliant performance. United, all over the place, man. All over the place. Maybe if they had another opponent, they would have won the game, but not City. Not this season. Not happening. Pep should be a happy man. I think he was really agitated at the beginning of the game, even though City were playing well. He didn't like the way they were doing things, and Pep's a perfectionist, and it's good because it means that you will get a good final product at the end of the day. For United, they're still going through a period where They don't know what's going on. They don't know who's going to be the manager next season. They don't know their best 11. They keep chopping and changing as well. And they got to do a lot better. I think Newcastle played the same 11 for the last 3 games. If you look at United, they might switch up how many players for the last 3 games. So, yeah. You look at their team, it's just not good enough, man. United are just not good enough. McTominay and Fred, they didn't play well on the day, especially McTominay. It was just a poor performance. Very, very poor. Very poor. And I'm so happy that they got smashed 4-1. Embarrassing. These guys are jokers. Laughable. These guys are bums. It's my favorite name to call these guys. Bums. Bums. Look, before I leave, let's take a look at the Premier League table, right? Let's take a look at the table. City do have Sporting coming up on Wednesday, 5-0 up, and Crystal Palace next Monday. Quarterfinals of the FA Cup against Southampton, and there's a postponed game against Brighton, but Burnley, and then Liverpool April 10th. Let's take a look at the Premier League table right now. City versus Liverpool. You know what? Let me zoom this up so you guys could really get the picture here. Let me zoom this up real big. You see this right there? City versus Liverpool. This is it right there. 6-point gap right now. Liverpool with a game in hand. A win would make it 3 points. The game between these two teams, it's absolutely mammoth, and it's very, very important in the grand scheme of things. Liverpool cannot afford to drop any points. City cannot afford to drop any points. You see the goal differences there. City with plus 50, Liverpool with plus 51. You see the defenses. City with the best, but only by 2 goals. Liverpool with 20 goals conceded. Chelsea got a tight defense as well. But look at the goal score. Liverpool with 71, City with 68. So the teams are very close. 3 draws for City, 3 losses. Liverpool with only 2 losses and 6 draws. See, too many draws for Liverpool, but those came early on in the season. They ain't look like losing. Since that loss, December 28, I think, against Leicester, they haven't lost anything. Liverpool doesn't even want to lose a penny. That's how tight they've been. They don't want to lose nothing. And this is a dangerous team. This is a dangerous team. Man City are a very, very good team, and the only team that could challenge them right now is Liverpool. And it's up to City. But it's very difficult. It is very, very difficult. City got 10 games to go. Liverpool got 11. Who's going to blink first? Who's going to blink first? Because look, if Liverpool drop any points right now, they could kiss the league goodbye. They can't afford to drop any points because I don't think they're going to come to the Etihad and beat City. They can't afford to drop any points. But guys, it's been a good one. 2 hours. I'm very tired. Very, very tired, as you guys could see my face. Very, very tired. I've labored through this one, and I do apologize for that I'm not coming with the full energy. But at least I'm getting it done. I'm getting things done. We'll be back again for match week 29. We'll talk Champions League on Wednesday as well. I don't think I'll be live tomorrow, but on Wednesday night, we'll come back to talk Champions League. Thursday or Friday, we'll talk the weekend Premier League as well. And I look to, who knows, maybe bring back a gaming live stream or something. But I got a lot of work to do still on my cars because I fix my own cars as well. And you got to get them things in shape, man. You see what I mean? One car is old. It's an '06 card, so a lot of work to be done on that to keep it up to speed. It feels really good right now, but I want to make sure I do the right things to keep it running, you know. And my other vehicle, I effed it up, so I'm still fixing that one. So guys, look, it's been real. Thank you very much for the continued support. My laptop's not even connecting to the TV anymore. I don't know what's going on. I bought a cable to get that, so you won't be seeing any clips coming out of anything. And it's just been a struggle, man, you know. But thank God for life. Thank God for health and strength. And thank God for you guys and your continued support, man. So, look, for my boy Dom, it's match week 28 roundup. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Brentford with the big wins. The other teams, you know, that I didn't mention, not doing too well. Maybe I missed a team or two. Tottenham with a big win as well. But Everton struggling, Leeds struggling, Norwich, Watford, Burnley struggling. And it's going to be a good last 10 matches this season. The countdown is on, okay? And I'll be talking about it here on Dominic Rich FC. Guys, thanks a lot for coming in again. Until next time, peace out. Rich Squad. Peace. I got to get up at 4:30. And it's what? 11:53. It's a struggle out here, man. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Think I'm joking? I'm not. It's a struggle out here.